Call this meeting to order. The Effingham County Planning Board meeting, July 11th, 2023. Now in session, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. We're going to open this meeting with a word of prayer, and we're going to follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'd like to ask that everyone who can, please stand. Mr. Zipper, would you mind opening us?
I will. Gracious Heavenly Father, be with us tonight as we conduct business for the Planning Board of Effingham County. Be with all our servicemen and women and first responders and leaders of this great country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Zipper. Our agenda, Ms. Easton, are there any items that we need to add or delete from this agenda?
Yes, sir. There's multiple changes to tonight's agenda. Item 8 in Sketch Plan 1 have been postponed to the August Planning Board at the request of the applicant. Item 9 has been amended at the request of the applicant to rezone to B3 instead of I1. And items 11 and 12 have been withdrawn by request of the applicant.
Item 11 and 12 has been withdrawn. Okay. Item 9 is from I1 to B3.
It's going from B2 to B3 instead of B2 to I1.
And that will be heard tonight.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then 8 and item 1 on sketch plan have been postponed until August. Is there anything further? All right. Any questions? Call for a motion to approve this agenda with the noted changes.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Zipper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. We had 2 sets of minutes. We had minutes from our regular June meeting, which was June the 13th. Are there any corrections or additions to these minutes? If there are not, I will call for a motion to approve these minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval from Mr. Zipper. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. And then on July the 5th, we had a special call meeting. Any comments on these minutes? Call for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, Mr. Thompson. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second, Mr. Zipper. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. New business. All items presented tonight will be presented again at the Board of Commissioners meeting. Is that August 8th? Is that correct?
That will be August 1st.
August 1st. I'm sorry. August 1st.
First, okay.
That'll be the Commissioners is August 1st. So all items presented tonight will be presented again at the Board of Commissioners meeting. That meeting will also be a public hearing. We'd like to ask that anyone who wishes to speak tonight, that you've come forward to the podium, that you would state your name into the microphone as well as sign your name for the record. We'd like to ask that all comments made are in the microphone as these meetings are being taped. Whenever the item of your concern is called, you can come forward at that time. And we will begin with item number 1 under new business. Public hearing for Mr. James R. Presnell as agent for Donald and Clara Spade. Request to rezone 5.59 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for division of the property located at 638 Colic Helmy Road. This is the 2nd district. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, sir. The applicant wishes to create a home site, approximately 1.37 acres. That will bring both portions of the parent parcel to less than 5 acres, so the entire acreage must be rezoned. Staff is recommending approval.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Questions or comments at this time? Yes, sir.
James Presnell representing Donald and Claire Spade, mother and stepfather. We're just gonna subdivide it, move in next door. They're getting on in years and we want to be close by.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? There are no comments from the board. I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Thompson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 2 is a public hearing for Lennon Godoy as agent for Adolfo Mitchell. Request to rezone 1 acre from R1 to AR2 to allow for the placement of a mobile home located off of Goshen Road. It's the 2nd district. Ms. Katie?
Yes, this property was rezoned to R1 in 1999. The original intent was to do 2 home sites of about equal size, and instead they came up with the configuration that you see. The applicant is asking to rezone to AR2 because they wish to place a mobile home. Mobile homes are not permitted in R1. Staff is recommending approval.
And where's the access? Is it down the property line?
Yes, I believe the access is right down there.
I thought there was a paper showing an easement. 60 feet. Yeah, it is.
Should be a 50-foot easement
Six-
between my property and the property.
Sir, could you come forward to the, please, sir?
It shows a 60-foot.
Yeah, we should have 60.
Yes, sir. Could I get your name?
Ricky Fail.
Yes, sir.
There should be a 50-foot easement as it stands now between my property line and the original property line before this gentleman bought this property. I can't remember how long they've been over there. But anyhow, if they rezone this property, is that 50-foot easement still going to be there, or?
It shows a 60-foot easement on the
Well,
drawing.
This is Allen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was told it was 50-foot, Allen. I could be wrong, but
I don't know, I'm just reading it off this paper. It
Well-
shows 60 foot.
maybe it is a 60-foot, but
Right,
it's a
you know.
pretty good piece of cross there. I know that. Yes, sir.
That's the same easement they're planning on using, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, the gentleman that bought this let's see, what is it, when they foreclose on the taxes or whatever, he was, put a driveway and all in, but I mean, you know, you got the driveway still there now. But he's got to do some tree work, and I'm not sure whether they'll be using Mr. Mitchell's, Adolfo Mitchell's driveway or the new driveway, because they're gonna have to take a few trees out to get up there with a car or truck. And there's a power line. If they go in there with anything real big, it's going, other than a car or a pickup truck, it's going, they're not gonna put no mobile home there, you know, because of that power line that runs in there to the residents now.
I mean, with easements, you know, a landowner can grant access, however, but legally, the only legal access is what's on that plat.
Yes, sir, I understand. Yes, sir. But I mean, you know, it's okay with me, whatever they do, if they rezone, if y'all, you know, give them the, you know, approval to rezone it, but I was just wanting to come up here and see who's gonna live there is what I was up to, you know, who they gonna rezone this property for to live in that mobile home. So
Gotcha.
is it this boy, this Lennon,
So I don't think we can ask that question about who lives as a planning board, but what I would ask is, like, they are asking to rezone to allow a mobile home, right? So,
well, is it gonna
So
be for a
if that-
family member or a non-family member?
we.
Still
Yeah,
in the.
this zoning change would allow it to be either or, like, there's no, the county can't govern who they rent the property to.
I understand.
Or if they rent or don't.
Right, or if they
Yeah.
rent it or don't rent it.
I understand,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so, I mean, this is the time, if there's a concern with it, we want to hear it, so.
Well, that's all I got to say about it, you know, I just,
If there is anyone else that's a representative for this, maybe you can talk to them directly.
well, okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Sir, Mr. Fail?
Yes, sir.
Could you sign in, please, sir? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Questions, discussion from the board? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 3 is a public hearing for Jessica Collins as agent for Kenneth Hales and Cheryl Foote. Request to rezone 4.4 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for division of the parcel located at 639 Archer Road. It's the 3rd district. Ms. Dunnigan?
The applicant wishes to separate 1 acre from the corner of Archer Road and Brittingham Road. The entire acreage of the property needs to be rezoned to AR2 because neither piece will meet the 5-acre threshold. Staff is recommending approval.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Questions? So we're taking 1 acre out of the 4.4?
Correct.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? If there's no discussion from the board, I'll call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Zipper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 4 is a public hearing for Randy Parrish, request to rezone 5.6 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for the creation of 2 additional home sites located at 974 Orangedorf Road, 3rd District. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, the applicant wishes to subdivide, creating a 3-lot subdivision. Staff is recommending approval. It must be rezoned because none of the lots involved will meet the 5-acre threshold.
Questions, discussion?
I guess my only question, this isn't part of a planned subdivision where we've had that sort of review and concern about adjacent properties being zoned the same?
It is not.
Okay.
Is there- Go
So
ahead.
we busting 343-4 into 3 lots?
Correct.
Do you have a drawing of what that's gonna look like?
It's on the left up there.
All right.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Yes, sir. Good evening.
My name's Ernest Shield. I live next door at 1000 Orangedorf Road. I moved here 20 years ago because I lived in Richmond Hill. I had some property and this is what happened. People rezoned. And it ended up being subdivision after subdivision. I moved up here because it was a nice place to live, and I bought 9.2 acres, and my neighbor, Miss Kathy Prickett, lived there the whole time I was there. She moved to Florida and sold it with the assumption that Mr. Parrish was going to redo the house or redo the trailer and sell it. And now we're going to put 2 more houses, which is right next door to me. I have a problem with that. I know subdivisions are going up. If I'd want to live in a subdivision, I'd have moved in one. I live in the country. I enjoy the country. We can shoot guns out there. We hunt. And where this is located, they're not going to build behind the house because that goes down on a creek. So it's going to be in front of the house, where the original house now. So there'll be 2 houses right next to me between them and Orangedorf Road. And I mean, I'm in the middle of my lot, but like I said, it's nice. I don't agree with putting more houses. There's not like 7 of us on this road. We've been there for 20 years. And now we're rezoning it, and we're gonna build houses in here. Again, we hunt there, we shoot skeet there, I have grandchildren, and I would like to continue to enjoy while I move to Effingham County. I understand counties grow, I understand that. But Mr. Frederick Whiteman, Mr. Carl Ornsdorf owns a lot of land around here, and it's all wooded. It's very nice. I just retired and I built a house 3 years ago. I like it up here, and I want to continue to stay. But I do not want people moving in next door to me. And if he builds 2 houses, they're gonna be right there, next door to me. Because like I said, he's got the building from where the original house is now towards Ornsdorf Road. He's not gonna be able to build anything back behind it.
Well, the plat shows it to be broke, a 1 acre tract. Can you go back to how they gonna subdivide it?
See over on the left side of the screen.
I'm right here.
Yes.
Yeah, but, look over on the
Left.
left side. That's what the drawing that they submitted. So it's gonna be a 1 acre parcel in the back. And I'm assuming that borders the creek.
The creek is there, as soon as you go out the back of her house, I'm talking about Kathy that owned it. If they're gonna put a trailer, they're gonna put it close, because then it drops down. And when it rains, it floods. I mean, when we have bad rains. So you can't put nothing back there.
Yeah, looking at this map, I don't even know if they can legally with the wetlands get back there.
To that
But
1
this is
acre
just a
tract.
map, but I mean, you can see that big flat or bay or branch, whatever.
Yeah, as soon as you go out of her back door, which is in the back side of mine, I built my house up in the middle of the property. It drops off, and there's Jack's Creek, and when it rains a lot, so putting something back there, I don't even see how they can do it. But again, I'm not gonna go back over everything again. You know how I feel.
This is the dirt road, correct?
Yes,
All right, sir.
yes, it is.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request?
How y'all doing?
Good evening.
Randy Parrish. I purchased a property. Nothing will be put behind the creek. The existing lot is already there, so the mobile home was derelict. We went ahead and we're gonna remodel it, fix it up. But I wanted to break 2 more lots up front to give to my kids, one to my son, one to my daughter. So that's the reason why I'm trying to break this up, so we can keep everybody close. But that's the whole reason, and the lots are up front where the high land is. So, obviously, I mean, if I can only get, you know, I've got to have a surveyor actually out there, if it's approved, to come out there, you know, and it may be a 1.5 acre, 2 acre, 1 acre again, you know, this not a direct science, but this is the projected plan to want to do something to this nature. I don't know how much I will actually need in the back lot to, you know, create that. And it doesn't mean that, you know, we're going to ever do anything with the first 2 lots, because my kids may be 5 or 10 years down the road before they ever even come to build something, but I want them to have something there so they can. So that's the purpose of it.
Have to have 1 acre of suitable soil for a well and septic.
That's correct.
Right,
Yeah.
required by the.
And that'll be exclusive of wetlands and buffers to wetlands, so that back one's likely not gonna be an acre.
But I mean, that's
But you could still certainly, assuming soils are good enough,
correct.
it'd be viable to subdivide it 3 times if the zoning was in place to do so.
Gotcha.
I would think from a standpoint of, looks like sand there.
All right. Any further discussion?
What the back lot? The back lot's already got the trailer.
It's
on
already
it.
existing, already got a trailer, already got a house. I mean,
Have to go through anything, so the front 2 lots are higher up, so.
I think in order to subdivide it, he'll have to prove that he's got an acre of suitable soil to create that new line, even if it has to go forward.
Okay. I was curious, cause it's already on that back lot.
Well, it's on 1 lot, right? So
Yeah.
right now, he's easily compliant with it.
Yeah, because the trailer's taking up the whole 5 acres, so.
yeah, but they're not gonna allow a septic tank on a lot that's not suitable.
That is
Right.
correct.
Okay.
You know, so the septic tank's already there in place, so the dirt's already suitable, or they wasn't allowed the septic tank to go there originally.
Could you, and just, I'm just curious. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of time to kill because nobody showed up, so I'll take up y'all's time. You could survey out, like, so it would be an acre. That way you could kind of fit 3 lots in there. So each lot would have like 1 acre.
Yeah, I mean, depending on,
Just curious. I don't know.
depending on the wetlands, the soil analysis, yeah. I mean, you move lot lines and, I mean, it may take 3 acres for the trailer
Yeah,
to get his 1 acre.
to get to 1 acre usable. Yeah. All right, just curious. Just tell me to shut up if you want to.
No, you're good.
Usually do.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Parrish.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Yes, sir. Very, very quickly, sir.
I hate to keep harping, but when you turn in and come, and her driveway right there to the left is high, but part of it, just like when you turn in my driveway on the right, it's like a little bay. So when it rains, that fills up with water, because I got a culvert in my driveway that gets it out of there. So, and part of that bay goes over into the other side on the 5.6 acres. So I just wanted to bring that up too. It is high when you come in her driveway right there. But if you go all the way over to the line, that's where the base starts.
Right.
And it actually runs around and down the side.
So this is the first step. I mean, he can't really go out there and start measuring, checking wetland soils until he sees if he can get approved. And then if it is approved, then he goes out and figures out if he's got enough usable soil to make his plan work, if it's granted. So this is kind of the first step. And then he's gonna have to do his soil, wetland work, soil analysis, that kind of stuff, and still turn it into the county. It'll have to be surveyed out and everything after this step.
Okay. And
So-
then there'll be another meeting, no doubt.
There will be a meeting with the county commissioners after this. This is a recommendation from a zoning board.
Right, and
tonight.
I'm not trying to harp on stuff, you know. I love this place, I love the country.
So do
Thank
I,
you.
so, yes, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
Just to get clarification, how large is 343-3? Can we see the plat? Is it, I guess it's over 5 acres? I'm just wondering about the adjacent property there.
2.7.
Okay.
Discussion. I mean, we never have the ability to know for sure whether it's gonna be for family use or not, but for family use, I mean, I think this board usually leans in that direction, in hopes that the applicant is being up and honest, which I believe Mr. Parrish is the only thing I'll have to say about it. And obviously, the lot beside it is smaller. I mean, I know we're in the country, I know it's on a dirt road, but anyway.
Yeah, I just think consider that will be a spot there that will future requests similar could be based off of. But I mean, the fact that the adjacent piece is, I guess, basically a non-conforming lot from a size standpoint, that if it were revisited, it would be zoned as the same as this request is from a size standpoint. So I guess it precluded zoning.
Any further? Let me call for a motion.
We'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Zipper. All those in favor?
Nah.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. And once again, this does move to the county commissioners meeting on August the 1st. Item 5 is appointment member Charles Allen Rich, request to rezone 3.06 of 21.02 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for the creation of a home site located at 101 Wheeler Cemetery Road, 3rd District. Ms. Dunnigan.
Yes, the applicant wishes to create a home site for his son, which is less than 5 acres. Therefore, it must be rezoned. Staff is recommending approval.
Okay, questions, comments? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor or against this request?
I'm just going to ask a question. there a reason why they couldn't have made it 5 acres and been compliant?
I am not sure.
The adjacent, is that two adjacent zone similar? I guess I'm going back to the same thing, like, are we, what is around?
There is some smaller non-conforming AR1 and then.
That's the cemetery.
Yes.
And then there's that pond, so I guess they just kinda used the pond as a lot line.
Boundary, okay.
And the cemetery as, I mean, I guess he could have extended it over, but I know Alan lives in that curve where the firework is.
He would've kinda had to chop off the pond
Yeah, he
as a
could.
lot line
Yeah.
instead of using it as a line.
Right.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Smith, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item number 6, a public hearing for Leon L. Hood, request to rezone .2 of 2.5 acres from AR2 to AR1 to allow for combination with an adjacent AR1 property located at 256 Shirley Drive. It's the 4th district. Ms. Dunnigan?
Very simply stated, this small sliver is being combined, moving from an AR2 parcel to an AR1 parcel, and the zoning has to match. Therefore, it needs to be rezoned to AR1 for combination.
Was this just like a little piece of property that got left out at some point, or?
I'm not sure if it got left out or why they're squaring things up the way they are, but it's really,
I can't imagine you guys even allowing that to be split to begin with. So it must have been.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
it must have been a booth,
Right,
yeah.
that's what I thought. Is there anyone who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mrs. Zipper, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 7 is a public hearing for Kenneth Lancaster as agent for Lee H. Lancaster and Shirley Bridges. Request to rezone 1.28 of 72.97 acres from AR1 to AR2 to allow for recombination with an adjacent AR2 property located on Mott Road, and this is the 4th district. Ms. Dunnigan.
the AR2 parcel that you see right here is being expanded and sized. It's taking some portions of acreage from both adjacent AR1 properties. Therefore, the part that it's taking to be combined, all the zoning has to match, and it has to be rezoned. Staff is recommending approval.
So it will be 2.35 acres
Yes, sir.
after this? Discussion?
I mean, I guess other than if they want to add more property, but what this does allow is a subdivision of that into 2 lots in the future now, right? It would be greater than
Yeah.
2 acres. And not saying I've got an issue with it, I just wanted to bring it up and make sure that we understood. I guess that would be just a by right subdivision at that point.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Zipper, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. So we're on to number 9, which has been amended. Ground Control Development LLC request to rezone 12.3 acres from B2 to B3 to allow for development located on US Highway 80, First District. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, sir. So the applicant's original intent was to house their land development business here, complete with wood chipping service and retail for that product. They've decided not to go forward with the wood chipping, which was the more industrial aspect of the project. They would like consideration to zone to B3. I don't know, you probably remember this property. It was originally rezoned to B2 for commercial use because one of the 3 parcels was already B2, which was approved for automotive repair. The contemporary zoning for automotive repair is B3. So this is kind of keeping up with that. Staff is recommending approval, and the applicant is here if you have questions.
Yes, sir.
Shane Boris, Ground Control. It was the East of Eden salvage yard. We've been cleaning it up for 4 years. You guys changed your laws kind of midstream on us a little bit. We wanted to manufacture bark mulch there, but the codes for light industrial put the setbacks too far for us. So we're gonna actually move that to Bryan County, but we still wanna be able to use our heavy equipment there and dump trucks and excavators and land clearing equipment and stuff like that. So it's pretty simple. We're gonna have a lot of construction. Georgia Power's looking at it to stage some things for the Hyundai plant and things like that. So we have just excavators and dump trucks, and we have grinders and things like that. But the actual manufacturing is another machine that colorizes the bark, and that kind of put us in the manufacturing portion of it. So it's pretty straightforward that way.
So your use is basically a contractor's yard?
It's going to be a contractor's yard, yeah. And I don't know what the photo looks like now, but
The junkyard's cleaned up?
it's, you wouldn't believe it.
As somebody that
Couldn't be
drives
worse
by
than
there
that.
The other day,
regularly,
you-
I can believe it. It
Cowboy,
looks very
'cause it
good.
was a
Thank
mess
you.
when you got it.
It,
I don't know what y'all talking about. That place was heaven.
I know, I always wanted to go out there.
Looks good.
it was hard to do that way,
Yeah.
but it's very clean now.
Yeah, it looks good. It
Thank you,
does.
appreciate it.
Any further discussion? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak either in favor or against this request? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve rezoning. I'm gonna be clear on it since it did say I-1 from B2 to B3 with staff recommendation.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Zipper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 10 is a public hearing for Warren M. Kennedy, request to rezone 1.13 acres from R2 to B3 to allow for a storage facility located at 195 Elm Street. This is the First District. Ms. Dunnigan?
Yes, the applicant proposes to develop outdoor storage, boats, RVs, similar large items. He has met with staff, and we're okay with it. Access is going to be off of Elm Street, and it's not included in the staff report. So you may wish to include that as a condition of the rezoning. That access is limited to and from Elm Street. Staff is recommending approval.
All right.
Can we go back to the map? Just get my bearings exactly where that is.
Here, hold on just a second. I got a big one for you.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
I'm Warren Kennedy, owner of the property. I'd just like to reiterate what you just said. Basically, just use the lot for just storage, parking, I'm gonna put a fence around it. Basically, that's it.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, board? What kind of buffering or
Yeah.
screening is required on this?
That is going to be,
B3, is it just,
B3 to AR1 is going to be 30 feet. Yes. And then from B3 to B3, Chelsea's gonna verify this for me. Yes.
the property in blue is B3?
Yes, that is correct. That is currently B3.
Yeah.
And the re-
I guess and it is what it is with the current code, but, you know, right now, you know, as long as everything goes on there and is maintained and it's not just a long-term storage where it becomes an eyesore, that's my concern with sometimes with storage facilities. So just to know that I think it was a 30-foot buffer that was showing there on Highway 80, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And then it'd go down to 15 between that and 302, 166. But everywhere else is going to be 30 feet. And we did discuss buffers and screening and lighting.
And it's just very important to me from the standpoint of what you see coming in. That's not quite the gateway to the county, but that's coming into the county there from Bryan County, so.
So is that like you'll rent places for boats and campers and things? Is that what the intent is?
That's correct. I take pride in the property. If you happen to pass by there, that's the only lot is mowed down, probably 2 inches. I keep it cut. And I've been doing that for the last probably 15, 20 years, and I had it rezoned for multifamily, and I just backed away from that, and I just kept maintaining and keeping it clean. And I just came up with the idea of just putting a fence around it now, just use it for storage, and basically, it's not going to be an eyesore. I guarantee you that.
So it's grass, the entire lot's grass?
Grass, that's correct. It's one pecan tree and a pear tree on there now. That's about it.
So it doesn't have any access on the Highway 80?
It's access on Highway 80, but I prefer I use Elm Street because of the traffic on Highway 80.
So what's across Elm Street? Residential?
Yeah.
But the adjacent piece is on B3 with access to Elm Street?
Yeah, that corner, remember that corner at the end of Sand Hill?
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of,
Yeah,
well, they fixed the drainage there across Sand Hill, and it
right.
got some water off that property. Yeah,
I mean, as long as it's a planting and a buffer, I mean,
yeah, I just don't want to, going down Highway 80 to just see it directly into the site with all that's there is a chain link fence and
right. with
a
some-
boat that's sat there for
Yeah.
years, which I know may not be the intent, but it tends to happen sometimes.
Well, we have, I mean, our buffer requirements require plantings and, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the fact that if that use is allowed, then B3's adjacent to it, the use would be allowed there too, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like we
Correct, that's right.
really just need to look on the corridor.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? If there's nothing further from the board, I'll call for a motion.
I make a motion to approve staff recommendations.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Smith. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Thank you, sir. Good luck. On to
Dogwood Way.
county business, really, that's what I was thinking.
What's that?
So at least it wasn't on Dogwood Way. They usually have an army show up.
Yeah.
There's a lot more lots. That one doesn't have a
Yeah.
whole lot, it didn't look like.
Item number 13, public hearing, consideration of an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Appendix C, zoning ordinance, Article 3, general provisions, adoption of agritourism as Section 315C. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So an agritourism business is defined as an occupation or profession which is conducted on an agricultural residential zone parcel. The practitioner of that business maintains dwelling structures, livestock, and all agricultural related provisions for the business on the property. This ordinance would eliminate the need for the annual assemblage permit that we see agricultural residents, residential businesses coming to us that host events that are strictly based for agricultural use of the property. So Madrick Farms is a good example of that. You know, they do their annual pumpkin patch. You know, they do like the haunted corn maze, that type of activity. Staff has worked closely with the county attorney with this, and we feel that this ordinance would definitely benefit the county. You know, we see a lot of folks other than Madrick Farms, you know, the You Pick a Blueberry Patch or Strawberry Patch, that type of activity. So staff is recommending approval.
So at present, these entities have to come and ask for a permit every time?
Correct. And so anytime they want to do, you know, some type of event like that, or they want, you know, they even want to do, you know, the Christmas trees or something of that nature, they would need a business license to do that. This would give them that opportunity to have those events or be able to sell their, you know, their product that they're growing on their agriculture land. This would give them that outlet.
So they still have to be selling a product that they're growing? No. Like if I had a beautiful farm and my agritourism business was that I wanted to do weddings on my beautiful farm because of how beautiful the agriculture was, that doesn't open up a opportunity for that, right? Just want to clarify.
Scarecrows only would be.
Okay. I mean, because
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify like what that.
It's not an event venue. It has
yeah.
to be grown on the property that's there, and it has to be the people that own the property that do there.
Gotcha.
So if this goes into place, will they have to do anything now? Or will they have to still come get a once a year permit, or they can just they're covered under this?
So they would have to come to us to be covered under this. This would include, you know, staff doing sketch. We would have to go through almost like a sketch plan process in an administrative review. It would almost be as a conditional use. Speak to that a bit more.
It would be somewhat like a PD. This is for operations which extend beyond the rural business category because of the volume, perhaps, and because it's not in an enclosed space. And it would not be a private event venue, would be definitely different. However, if you wanted to take people on a tour of your farm the day that they did get married and let them, you know, meet a cow, that would be the way to go there.
But would they have a business license, or?
They would be required to carry and keep current a county business license.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify this too. It is like a conditional use. So you have an agricultural property, you would have to get approved on the agritourism component of that to allow that use. And so therefore, at that point, y'all or the Board of Commissioners could then put conditions on it. Because essentially you're operating like a farm, right? Or like for livestock, but you're allowing people on it, right? To view it. So butter ducks, they're, would be an example of that. They don't have to, they're grandfathered obviously, but if someone wanted to open a second one, that it would have to fall under this if they were going to allow the public there to do tastings and what have you, so that we can make sure that they have adequate facilities to to address that need. So it does give it allows these folks to come up with some sort of mechanism where they're in compliance without having to get an assemblage permit every year. And then the second thing is it does give the boards the opportunity to make sure if you're going to do this, you're prepared, that you put the public safety into consideration with regards to things like parking and exits and bathrooms and all that fun stuff.
So this will be a zoning classification.
Correct, for similar to a conditional use. So if you want to be able to open one of these things up, you have to come back to the board to get that approval for an agritourism use.
I think it's only AR1 and AR2, right?
Yeah, AR1 and AR2 only.
And would that be like, will it go with the business or with the property? Like, if they go to sell the property, would they have to come
That's
back?
a good question.
I believe that is why it is not a conditional use. It's going to be a classification of businesses because it won't stay with the land.
Property.
It's unique to the business. But it will be, since no two will be the same, there will be, of course.
And that's probably one of the last questions that we're going to meet with the county attorney tomorrow on to determine if it's no longer a farm, it's no longer agritourism. Right, so if they convert it. Now, this also plays into the future land use map and the characteristics that we're developing for the parts of the county. And it lends itself more to be able to save some of the farmland that's out there by allowing them to do some business on there that they couldn't before.
No, to clarify, I've asked several questions. I think it's a wonderful idea. I just wanted to make sure that
It's all laid out.
Yeah, just not a loophole somebody can hit us with somewhere. But it looks like it's been, and if I'd have read through it, I'll see if there's no musical entertainment or live recordings. That probably eliminates my first question.
So are Mandrake Farms coming to you every year when they do their pumpkin patch and stuff now?
They do go through.
Certainly are.
They do go through the assemblage process.
Are they happily coming to y'all?
No, they're super
happy.
nice about it, but they in the past they had some challenges with their neighbor, and so that every year, that would open up the debate.
I don't know, it seems like a good idea at first, and then after I heard you talk, I was like, man, I don't want you telling me what I can and can't do, and telling me I can have this and have that. So it seems like you're kind of micromanaging their property, but.
But keep in mind, it's not allowed right now anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I know most of the residents around here, they're gonna do it regardless.
okay.
Better ask forgiveness and permission, right?
We've got 4 code enforcement now. They're not going to get away with anything.
Where's Mandrake Farms?
It's
Off of Ron Station Road.
off of Ralph Ron, right next to the park.
Yeah.
And the problem they had, I think, was with the entrance road going in. That Gary sold some property and the road was on,
Right.
partly on that
Right.
property and had to
Yeah.
build another road in.
And Madrick Farms is one of the supporters of the agritourism ordinance, so they would prefer to have something like this.
And this would open up an avenue like the Blue Sky
Blue Sky
Acres,
Acres.
like the equestrian-based things would be able to apply land underneath this, and they would have a ability to have more in line of what the plan would be, but they'd have to come with a much bigger plan to get this. It wouldn't just be something by right, obviously, so.
Exactly, yes, and this would allow them then to do, their more educational aspect of things, the wood shop,
Yeah.
and to expand a bit more.
I guess if you had problems with neighbors, it would help out a lot, what you're saying, because you're already getting approval from the county, so.
It would.
Well, it's been discussed, and you've tried to make common sense approaches at everything, so protect everyone.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Call for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve and a second from Mr. Thompson. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 14, consideration of an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Official Code, Chapter 14, Building and Building Regulations, Article 2, Construction Codes, Division 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 14-56, to clarify site plan requirements for issuance of permits. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So, the criteria for when a site plan comes in with a building permit application, that criteria is somewhat unclear. So this ordinance revision is to help make that process, more clear and just better. This ordinance revision makes that administrative function, under zoning, as opposed to what it is right now, which is, under, the building.
It's unclear.
There
clearing
is
it
there is a visual aid now within this ordinance that also clarifies the criteria and assists, the public, to help them understand the requirements as well. So, staff is recommending approval.
So this is related to like literally me pulling a building permit for my home construction. A lot of places call that like a plot plan. Not
Yes,
necessarily,
sir.
Right, okay.
Yes, everywhere but here.
Okay, but that is what this is
That is what
intended
it
to
is,
be?
that's right.
Okay.
Well, if you want to name it that, now's the time.
That's right.
I mean, I think it would clarify, because I see site plan, I think of a site development plan, and a plot plan is,
So do I. I agree with you.
does that,
Plot plan is a great idea.
okay. Okay, but.
Any further discussion? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion with the one amendment. I would like consideration by the commissioners to substitute the word plot plan for site drawings in all applicable spots.
Motion for approval. Any discussion? Call for a second.
Second it.
Second, Mr. Zipper. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries by all. 15, public hearing, consideration of an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Official Code, Appendix C, Articles 1X, the Effingham County Code of Ordinances responding to the changes of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia Zoning Procedures Law. Ms. Chelsea.
Yes, sir. So House Bill 1405 was passed and amended Title 36 of the official Georgia Code. This ordinance revision complies with those amendments, including adding definitions, specifically adding definitions for local government and quasi-judicial officers, boards, and agencies. It also defines terms such as zoning, zoning decision, and zoning ordinances. This ordinance expands on the procedure for conducting a public hearing and the standards and criteria for zoning decisions. Lastly, it adds the zoning appeals process. It makes it a little more clear. Staff is recommending approval.
And the zoning appeals process is,
Yes, sir. Let me pull that up for you. So the new, and I'll send this over to you so you can take a look at it if you don't have it there.
Do we have it up on the screen?
So there's an appeal of zoning decisions, and then there's an appeal of quasi-judicial decisions. So it gives citizens the ability to appeal any zoning appeal final zoning decisions.
to the court.
Yes.
And that wasn't already permitted?
So it was, but I think this makes it more clear, and it makes it maybe more, puts it in layman terms.
And the official code references the new code
Yes.
that's,
Severely aggrieved by a final zoning decision. That's half the people that walk out this room. Anybody else want to say? Any further discussion?
I guess just, again, maybe in layman's, what would this change in the process of what we do on a daily or monthly basis?
I'm gonna say there's not much change. It's just that it's written down and it's clearer than it was before. So apparently in other areas of the state, there have been some processes that may have been not as clear. And so when they do pull the trigger on, court cases, there's been some vagueness in some areas.
So basically, this is making it, the process supposed to be uniform throughout the state. If you want to appeal a zoning decision,
Yes.
every code's supposed to go through the same exact process and just
That's
clarify
correct.
that.
So everybody that, does a project in a different part of the county can expect the same process wherever they go. Which is good. I'd want to see that, so.
Any further discussion? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Item 16, consideration of an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, Part 2, Official Code, Chapter 30, Article 8 of the Effingham County Code of Ordinances, responding to Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia. Ms. Chelsea.
So this ordinance revision, again, is in response to Title 36 state law changes. This is for the timber ordinance revision. This revision includes definition changes, notice requirement changes, addition of a timber operations bond, posting and sign requirements, and addition to violations. Staff is recommending approval.
Bless you.
And I guess my biggest question is, where is this going to be and how is this going to be handled in the county? With whom?
So this is still through development services. So you still make your notice of timbering through the state. And I actually am going to let Miss Easton kind of describe it more. She's taken over our timber operations, so I will let her take the floor.
The state passed a law beginning July 1st. You have to do your notifications through the state website. We'll still get the notifications. It will still kind of go through our office. It's not a permit anymore, so we can't deny it. That's one thing that the new state law goes into effect. But yeah, we'll still be handling everything. We'll have to go out and do an inspection whenever, we get the notification. We'll have to do an inspection whenever it ends.
Two new signs instead of four signs?
It'll have to be 4 signs instead of 2 signs. And they have to be 48 inches in size.
Or is Effingham County gonna be like Burke County where you have to purchase your signs from the county?
What a great idea. Thank you. That's a great idea. Income for development services.
$3,000 a sign.
Yeah, they were expensive.
And I think the bond is a limit of $1,000. Is that correct? Something like, what is it? How much is it? 5,000.
Was the bonding already a requirement?
No.
No. So that's
New.
That's new.
Yep. The signs are new, and then the not permitting, just the notification is new.
And we're also, sometimes in the past, you've had to be required to get an encroachment permit. That is no longer, we cannot require you to have an encroachment permit as well.
To access the county highway or road, is that what
Right. But the purpose of the bond is in case
Right.
of destruction of the ditch and or the road right there.
Weigh in,
What?
weigh in.
That's fine. Who, so is you're gonna be I mean, who's gonna handle, and I'll just say this, in a lot of other counties, especially like Scriven County, you know, they have the road crew. That guy's the one that, cause he's out riding roads, checking road signs, that kind of thing. I mean, he gets the permits on, I guess, a weekly basis. And then while he's out checking roads or signs, he swings by, you know, got every permit nailed up on a tree. Checks your signs, make sure they're out. Egress, signs off on it. And then when it's done, you know, comes back by. But, because it will get time consuming at times for, I mean, if you're going to create someone another job.
Yeah, so the plan is temporarily, Miss Easton will issue or keep up with this, and we'll let code enforcement know who's out there.
Yeah.
But our plan is we're gonna have tablets for code enforcement. We're gonna have tablets for building inspections. Yes, I know. And that this is gonna coordinate with the new software program. So they'll be able to enter it in right there, boom, it goes, and then we'll be able to take it from there. So that's the goal, is to get them mobile so that it's not done here. There's also an education component that Sammy has talked about to educate everybody on the new changes in the state law.
So that'll create another county job though?
No, it will not. No.
I asked that, and I don't want you to take this as being smart, but when I got on this board, you know how many county staff was in this room?
One.
Two,
Oh.
at the most.
No, we're a growing county.
Well, I'm just asking that question because every time we hire another employee, somebody has to pay that bill. And,
Yeah, I mean, agreed. It could, because it could, if it's not thought through correctly, this could become, like I said, this can become time consuming.
if this was like stuck into code enforcement or whoever's already riding around that could just sign off on this on that tablet, then it wouldn't be very invasive. But if you're gonna create another position to go check these timber permits,
No.
then I'll be against that.
I think it's a money.
Oh.
It's a money loser if you try and create a position to administer this. It has to be done by
Yeah, I mean,
the
there's no
existing
money,
staff.
there's, well.
No money exchanged hands.
Well,
Yeah.
there is, because, I mean,
We don't.
people are supposed to be paying timber tax.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, timber tax is not the biggest tax we have, but it does go a long ways. And that's the reason a lot of counties really keep up with this, to make sure people are filing and paying their timber tax. So it does pay, but I mean, you know, if you're going, I guess my concern is if you're going to put all this on Sammy's plate, it could get time consuming. There's not a lot of timber producers left in the county, but at times there'll be a lot of timbering going on.
Yeah, we've got 3 or 4 going on right now, just in one little small area.
So,
But it's not, it's just, we'll do it through the new software program and then the technology to do it while they're already out there.
well, that's what I say. If they're in the area, they go by and check it off. Yep, permits there,
Yep,
blah, blah, blah.
signs there. And if not, they just
Or they
load it
ride
up.
by somewhere and there is no permit. They've also got to know, they've
Just gonna
also
put you
got to
on
start
salary.
noticing that.
You gotta work nights too now.
So, but I guess that's where I'm getting hung up. There will not be a permit issued, correct?
Correct.
So what is the, and it sounds like that's state saying there won't be a permit issued, right?
Correct.
If something's not happening right, what is the county's recourse to, you can't go pull their permit, there's not one that exists.
It's a notification card, which is, so it's just kind of what we're signing off on, saying that we've done the inspections and stuff. But as far as we can issue stop work orders,
Okay,
if you
still-
haven't
okay.
done your notifications, which we've had to do recently.
I got you. So there's still that mechanism, even if we didn't issue a permit, you can issue.
And I think there's some fines associated
Yes,
with
sir.
that
You
too.
can get fined for up to $1,500 a day now. That is part of the new law that went into effect July 1st as well.
And they issue stop work orders, you know, on rainy days or things like that. I mean, in other places.
Yeah, this is completely new to me. So I just was
Effingham
curious.
County does it, but, you know,
Sammy says she'd be doing that now.
I'm not doing the stop works.
We'll get her a big whip.
well, there will be times when, you know, we don't have that many dirt roads anymore, but there will be times when people don't need to be working,
Right.
especially on dirt roads.
Yep. Yeah, brought it up pretty good.
Any further discussion? I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, is there a second?
Now second.
Second, all's in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried by all. Is that it? Do I need to sign these? Meeting adjourned.
Y'all need these.
I guess your
Right.
zoning
I was
checklist.
just on the news for getting rid of 5 people.